Hey guys, what's going on? So this morning I have four book recommendations for you. Now these books aren't directly related to physical health or exercise or anything like that. But remember, when we talk about our overall health, right, we're talking about physical health, emotional health, intellectual health, and mental health. It's all one package. And I think what I have to recommend for you today is going to help in those areas. At least I hope they will. I know they did for me. Now, I just want to point out, right, that any of these concepts or ideas that are in these books that I'm going to recommend, none of these guys reinvented the wheel, right? Every one of these concepts and ideas that are brought out in these books have been around forever. There's thousands of books that have been written on the same subject, but presented in different ways. Book number one is The Power of Now. You've probably heard of this one. It's been around for a few years now. A guy by the name of Eckhart Tolle, if I'm saying his name correctly. He brings out the point that the importance of trying to live in the present moment, which the majority of us don't do, right? He says that we have to differentiate between our true self, our inside self, our inner self, and our mind, our ego, right? Because the ego is always trying to take the wheel and control things. It's almost like a facade or like a character that we all have. We're always focusing on things other than the present moment, which is the only reality that we have, right? We're focusing in a rearview mirror on the past, things that we can never change. It's all come and gone, but we just dwell on it. And if we're not looking in a rearview mirror, we're looking ahead into a future that's non-existent, right? And we're projecting things into the future that we're going to evolve, things are going to get better, things are going to change in a certain way. We give ourselves, all this grief and anxiety over what might happen, what negative things might happen. And in reality, most of it never does happen. While we're looking back and looking forward, we're missing what's right in front of us, right? The reality. He also gives us these strategies to help that it's sort of like a tug of war, right? Between our ego and our inner self, trying to prevent the ego from taking over. So I thought it was an interesting book. I think it's going to definitely have you thinking a lot and looking at things in a different perspective when you look at how you react in certain situations when you see other people react in certain situations. It's going to help you understand things a little better. Book number two was called The Power of Habit, Why We Do What We Do in Life and in Business. I talk about this a lot, like when I talk to people about just exercise, right? Trying to get like a healthy lifestyle going. And, I stress that we have to make things, turn it into a habit, right? Make exercise a part of your daily routine, and so it'll evolve into a habit. And this guy in this book talks about, how we have all these destructive habits, and he explains what he calls this habit loop, right? We're a cue triggers us. It's a trigger or a cue, he calls it. Then we go into this routine, and then we get a reward. So he helps us to understand this three-step process that we use to develop habits, to keep them going, and then hopefully to change them, at least the destructive ones. And he gives us these techniques in the book on how to create new habits by manipulating, for lack of a better term, these cues that we give ourselves in order to change these habits, or, and again, get rid of the old bad habits and then develop the new ones. And he also talks about the importance of developing willpower, and actually turning willpower into a habit that'll keep us going, and develop these other habits that he calls keystone habits. These are like linchpins, good habits that we can develop that affect other habits, that get us developing new beneficial habits in our life. So book number three is called The Four Agreements, and it's a guy by the name of Don Miguel Ruiz. And he talks about how, we have these inherent beliefs and behaviors in our lives. And he talks about the strong influence that society as a whole has on our personal beliefs and behaviors. And he infers that a lot of these behaviors and beliefs that we have, these inherent behaviors and beliefs, limit us in a lot of ways, right? So he's trying to teach us to break from those limiting behaviors and habits. And he offers up what he calls the four agreements that we can follow that's going to help us in every facet of our lives. So the first agreement he offers up is to be impeccable with your word, right? He talks about avoiding, gossip, negative self-talk, making false promises, and just generally be truthful and have integrity. And number two is don't take anything personally. Realize where, other people's opinions and actions, that they're not a reflection of you, they're actually a reflection of that person. And don't have this close attachment and worry about how other people try and judge you, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter at all. Third agreement he talks about is not making assumptions. Don't make assumptions, right? He talks about the dangers of actually making assumptions without verifying things. We want to avoid misunderstandings, make sure that we look for clarification by asking questions. And then the fourth agreement is always do your best, right? Sounds simple enough. You always want to strive for excellence in every aspect of your life. And you also have to realize that your best is going to vary in different circumstances in life. I thought it was interesting, when I read the titles of each of these four agreements, on the surface, in the title itself, you say to yourself, well, it seems pretty simple enough and straightforward. Probably tell yourself initially that, yeah, I kind of do that anyway. But if you sit back and really analyze and you're really honest with yourself, you'll say that, maybe not so much. Simple as they might seem on the surface, we really have to put some effort into it. So the fourth book I have to recommend isn't actually a book. It's a video of a lecture series that's posted on YouTube. And the lectures are based on Napoleon. It's actually Napoleon Hill giving the lectures himself. And it's based on his book, Napoleon Hill's Keys to Success, the 17 Principles of Personal Achievement. But I thought it was real interesting listening. I loved his delivery, and he goes over each and every one of these 17 principles in detail. He starts off with definiteness of purpose, having a clear-cut goal. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Identify those goals. And he talks about being laser focused. The term he uses, just having a burning desire behind the goal, which is going to make you push forward with it. He talks about the importance of personal initiative, taking action without having to be forced, without having to be pushed, being proactive. He talks about the importance of a positive mental attitude in life. Self-discipline, really important, right? Control your thoughts, control your emotions, control your actions, and that's going to help you maintain your focus on your goals. He talks about having to deal with adversity and defeat in your life. He also talked about our health, right? The importance of prioritizing our physical and our mental health, maintaining a balanced lifestyle, laying off the booze, temperance, eating the right way, because we all know if we don't have our health, everything else is a moot point anyway. So all in all, I really did enjoy this lecture series, this video. I actually go back to it quite often, to be honest with you. Excellent, helpful information. And the book was written so many years ago. The lecture series was so many years ago, but every bit of it holds true today. So those are my four recommendations for today, guys. I hope you get something out of them. The Napoleon Hill video is on YouTube. You'll find it. I'm going to leave the links down below. You can actually find, if you're inclined to listen, they do have the Power of Now audiobook with good sound quality on YouTube. I did find the Four Agreements audiobook on YouTube with good sound quality. The Power of Habit book I did find, but it was a computer-generated voice. Maybe if you delve a little deeper, you might find one that has good sound quality. But if you are more of a reader and you need that paper in your hand, I know they are listed on Amazon. So again, that's my recommendations for the day, guys. I appreciate you guys listening. Get your reps in, and I will talk to you in the next one. Have a good day.